Racial policies up to 1939. So, a racially pure state is what they aim to get. And this involved excluding people from Volksgemeinschaft, which is basically like the people's German community. They'd exclude those to be biologically inferior or subhuman or lesser racial value. This ideology was based on social Darwinism, basically survival of the fittest. Aryans were the superior race in the eyes of the Nazis because of their intelligence, hard work, and willingness to make sacrifices for the nation, but we all know that was absolute rubbish. Germany had lost the First World War because of the weak, so they had to be removed, and they underwent selective breeding to create racial purity of this Aryan race, and therefore removed the undesirable characteristics and people. I typed in selective breeding into Google Images, and this is the first picture that came up, so I don't really see how it was relevant. Policies. So policies. They used a propaganda campaign against undesirables to create resentment. So they'd use propaganda to make Jews look bad or something like that. Also, there was the Sterilisation Law of 1933. The law for the prevention of hereditary diseased offspring. So basically, it was a law against creating, a race that they didn't want, like Jewish or something. Or it says here, sufferers of schizophrenia, hereditary blindness, and sufferers of deafness. They didn't want them, so it was a law against that. And also the law against dangerous habitual criminals. They didn't want bad people. They wanted disciplined people. Also, the Gestapo dealt with homosexuality, led to the arrest of 50,000 homosexuals. Also, concentration camps took in the work-shy, tramps, beggars, prostitutes, homosexuals, and juvenile delinquents. And also, the euthanasia campaign tried to exterminate the mentally ill, killed a lot of handicapped people, 5,000. But in 1941, this program had to be stopped, but it restarted in secret, and asocials were put into forced labour. Gypsies. In 1935, Gypsies were banned from marrying Germans, so they were kind of excluded from society in that way. And in 1938, Gypsies had to be registered to ensure racial separation. So that's just separating them even more. A bit of segregation, not very nice. In 1939, 30,000 Gypsies had to be deported in Poland, which is an awful lot. Jews. So the Jews, anti-Semitism is basically like, being against Jews. They were seen as inferior. And this view developed because many Germans looked for a scapegoat. It's a very funny word, scapegoat, to explain their defeat in the First World War. Basically, they put the blame on the Jews for losing the World War. Legal discrimination. Basically, they removed Jewish rights. Not very nice, and this was done through propaganda, posters, newspapers, films such as The Eternal Jew. The Nuremberg race laws of 1935. Jews lost their citizenship, their ability to marry Germans. This was forbidden. Not nice, not good. They were, in 1938, Jewish doctors were not allowed to practice. Polish Jews were expelled. Jews were excluded from schools and universities, and compulsory closure of sale and Jewish business was forced. Not nice for the Jews. Violence. From 1934 to 1938, violence was localized. However, in 1938, there were attacks on Jews in Vienna, attacks on 200,000 Jews in Vienna. On the 9th on the 9th to the 10th of October of the same year, there was a thing called Kristallnacht, basically where Jewish homes, businesses, and synagogues were attacked, and approximately 100 Jews were killed. So horrific stuff, violence, not good. Emigration, this was forced, as you can see. In 1938, they forced Jews to emigrate, and about half the Jews left before the war in 1939. Not great, not happy bunnies, as you can tell. There you go, racial policies up to 1939.